This is Michaela McLean, and you're listening to Beauty by Design. Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for being here again. It's time to talk about our next gate, Gate 38. Before we get into it, just want to remind you that you can get free charts on my website, michaelamclean.com, that have extended chart properties, which is really cool because I'm working on some cool stuff behind the scenes, some workshops, classes, whatever, that you're going to want the extra, you're going to need it. You're going to need the extra chart properties. So you can get as many free charts on my site as you want, and they're cute, they're pretty, much nicer to look at. So pop on over there and go to town. So there's that. Of course, the free guide to human design basics, just give you a little nugget on everything to get you started. That will also lead you to the correct $11 1 hour or type masterclass where you're going to learn everything that you need to know. And if you have it, revisit it. If you have access to it through courses that I do in different places, absolutely go back and do that as part of your New Year thing. You will, I promise you, get more every time that you listen or watch that, for sure, for sure. And I was just thinking about that last night, and like even the graphics and things, like there's certain, I don't know, it's like choosing things on purpose. Everything I do is always with intention behind it. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like that. It hit me last night. I was like, I really need to encourage people to go back and revisit all of that. Just this stuff just sinks in deeper and deeper, and you have more revelations over time. It's wild. So I encourage you to do that. Of course, there are the yoga nidras for each type and authority. That is sort of like next level stuff, or I mean, that's base level as well, because that is a way of getting all of this human design information, especially the most important stuff is in the nidra. And you can bypass the conscious mind and just get your beauty sleep, get all the scientifically proven benefits of yoga nidra, plus get human design information like embedded in there with no effort whatsoever. It's kind of awesome. So I really encourage people to also get on that, get on the yoga nidra train for 2024. I'm about that life. So yeah, anyway, fun stuff. And then I am encouraging again. One more thing to encourage. I was just cleaning out my bathroom last night. I got this amazing steam cleaner, and I am just like going to town on every nook and cranny and the grout and all the things. And I restocked and refilled and just got all my little fox all nice and beautiful. And self-care as I don't know, just like a bigger practice. Being a mom, for all the parents out there, I'm like, if you're not a parent, you don't get it. And having an animal, it's not the same. I was a dog mom back in the day before I had kids, right? And it's just like, no, you just realize how little time that you have to yourself. And now that my kids are finally a little bit older and like it's more manageable, I really want to bring all of that back into my life. Obviously it will never be at the level of like pre-kids, but I really want to do that. And so it's just like they have the most luxurious baths and face masks and all the oils and everything. It's like it truly is. It just speaks to my soul, and it speaks to my chart on a very deep level. Why I love Little Fox so much, but it's like everything to me. So if you haven't tried any of their products yet, I cannot recommend it enough because it's just next level, especially when you take a bath. And I take a bath upstairs in like my clawfoot tub, and I will go back downstairs, main floor or whatever, and then come back up later. And the entire upstairs where our bedrooms and everything are still smells like that hours, like all evening. It's like so good. It's worth it for that alone. You got to try it. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. All the links, everything that you're going to need is in the show notes or over on my Instagram bio at Michaela McLean. Let's get down to business. I'm about to go take a bath and do a face mask. I'm wanting to live that. Let me wear my bathrobe lifestyle right now. Okay. So your reminder, don't try to understand this at the mental level. Just let the sound current, the energy, the frequency of beauty sink deep into your cells like good skincare. Like I like to joke, like Bob Ross is your esthetician, and we're just chilling. All right, so 38, the sun is in Capricorn still, of course, and we're moving into gate 38, which is located in the root center and part of the individual knowing circuitry, which is the part of the chart that's like, okay, we're individual. Individual circuitry people have a deep inner knowing that they are here to be true to themselves, which leads to mutation, evolution, and positive change in the world. The individual keynote is empowerment. Like, I am going to be me, which actually empowers you to be you. The root, starting with the center itself, is both a motor and a pressure center. So it has more than one function. It pushes us to do and provides the necessary adrenaline or fuel to carry out the action. Energy actually enters the root and then moves around the body graph to the awareness centers. And in this case, it's up to the spleen. That's where it's trying to push up toward, which is our health and survival awareness. So 38 is known as opposition. It's the gate of the fighter. And this is the pressure to find or struggle for purpose in life. This is an energy that wants to know the value of life, essentially, what's worth fighting for and what is not. It's here to empower others through its being, right? There's an individual being, but it's not designed to listen to or be influenced by others. The low expression of 38 can show up as being addicted to riding the struggle bus through life for the sake of it, butting heads or picking fights for fun, expending energy on pointless things. It can be aggressive, combative, destructive. It's also quite stubborn in its ways. It won't listen to anyone else. It also has mental stories like, life is hard, life's a grind, it's me against the world. It can be hard to watch people with this gait make what we may view as questionable life choices, thinking like, why are you making life so hard on yourself? It could even be on the opposite end of things, somebody who just gives up, waves a white flag, surrenders, no fighting them. But the high expression is being a warrior of the light for good, knowing that we're not here for a meaningless existence, but that we're here to thrive, finding the things worth funneling that energy into what you believe in, fighting the good fight, against all odds, the underdog. To me, 38 is like, mentally being able to say, like, I can do hard things. It's energetic strength training. It's Capricorn, so I get this visual of the ability to move mountains. At an elevated vibration, stubbornness turns into perseverance. It's like a Teflon coating to all of life's obstacles. Not letting others influence you or contaminate your mind with their negativity, their naysaying, their opinions, anything like that. It has a very honorable ability to also stand up for others, especially when they can't stand up for themselves. I know this from having people in my life with the 38. They will jump in and fight your battles for you. Okay, so in the gene keys, the shadow of this one is struggle, goes both ways, repressive, reactive, defeatist, or aggressive. The gift is perseverance, and the city is honor. And in the gene keys, the 38th key is the warrior of light. So it's so interesting, just to quickly paraphrase the gene keys, it's like this shadow of struggle. It definitely has a thing for conflict, fighting with others, oneself, with life in general. It can be very disempowering because it's so stubborn. It's it's like the stubborn persistence, not in a good way, right? Causing destruction, especially in relationships, just addicted to fighting. But the gift of perseverance thrives on overcoming obstacles for a higher purpose. It's the inner warrior of light against dark forces within. And of the gift, Richard Rudd says, you only have to find the right fight, and your whole experience of the gene key changes. As you pour your heart, body, and soul into a fulfilling fight, it ceases to be a struggle. Okay, so my notes here, this is part of a projected channel. Projector rules apply. Seen, recognized, invited. You have to be invited into the right fight. Otherwise, it is incorrect. And also invited to share your knowing. So this energy is coming from the root. This is adrenaline. It's stress, right? This is important if you have this gate or the full channel or gate 28, any part of it, that you really move your body, that you are, kind of doing things that will like physically tax you so that you can work this energy out, right? Something I think about it, it's like, martial arts, boxing classes, something that's a little bit more intense that kind of gives your body a little bit of like healthy stress versus just being stressed, right? Those are two different things. Like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so all individual circuitry is always highly attuned to sound, vibration, the acoustics, music, whatnot. It is the inner ear, and specifically on this chart, the right ear, the inner ear. It's one of the gates of deafness. So it's kind of funny. I always call they're the energetic earplugs of the chart. It is totally about tuning other people out. Again, their thoughts, their opinions, whatever they're saying, negativity, just any outside influence, and really tuning in and hearing and listening to your own truth. So it's kind of funny because this one, on one hand, it's like there's the clear audience, but it really is an internal thing. This is not about, listening to others. So if you have this, it's so interesting. Anybody that has like the gates of deafness, again, you're not ignoring people, or if you don't have, I don't have any of them, but like, where you're like, oh, they're not ignoring me on purpose. The people with these, and I do have people in my life who have all of them, and it is hard. It's hard to like even get their attention, knowing that it's not an on purpose thing. I think that's super helpful with children. That you really need to like kind of like get in front of them and like look them in the eyeballs almost. Yeah, I think of this one too. Anything, again, individual circuitry, music, beautiful words. Individual circuitry is very moody and melancholic. The muse, she's here one day and she's gone the next. It's lonely. It's also about mutation and changing others, and the ability, again, back to empowering other people to be themselves. And this one is the fight or the struggle all individual circuitry, to be honest, has. It's the difficulty in finding the right words to explain your own inner knowing. That there's the inner loneliness. I'm always like, I'm a pure individual myself. So I get it. But that is how you mutate. That's how you help evolve others, is like, in this case, again, struggling to find the right words to explain yourself in this channel specifically, and then sitting in that deep melancholy if there is a feeling of no purpose to their fight. I think about this one, stoicism. I really love that. The daily stoic, all of it, dialing in on what actually matters and sort of like discarding the rest. I think there's so much wisdom to be gained from that. And I think 38 is a really great example of it sort of working itself out in real life. I love it when I find specific charts. For some reason, I'm looking somebody up, and Alan Watts, who is a Capricorn, a sacral generator. This is his Sun Earth combo. He is a Sun in gate 38, a Earth in 39. Just if you're curious, I mean, who doesn't love Alan Watts? Like, seriously. Anyway, I don't know. I just want to throw that in, but programming partner. So we've got the Sun in Capricorn. The Earth is automatically going to be opposite in Cancer, gate 39. And 39 is known as obstruction. It's the gate of provocation. This is the pressure to find the passion and spirit in life. It's the pressure to emote. So this gate is about pushing, poking, prodding others. It can be fun and gentle or forceful. The energy of 39 helps to encourage others to feel, to really feel, and awaken their connection with spirit. I always think this is such a funny one in that it's someone who pokes people, right? They're just naturally provoking others with their aura simply by existing. And this is how you would actually know who is correct for you or not. If somebody can't stand you and you're provoking, you are not an energetic match. 39 can also be attention seeking, like who's going to take the bait that I've set out, pushing other people's buttons, so on and so forth. This energy is moody and melancholic. Again, it's individual, right? Not only is it watery Cancer, but it's part of the channel of emoting. The pressure starts in the root center and reaches up toward the solar plexus. So 38 and 39 are mirror images here if you folded the chart in half. So this one is looking for some type of emotional release. The high expression of 39 would be provoking with consciousness, with awareness, just pushing other people to feel more, to do better, to deepen things. I also think of musicians writing lyrics, dancers with choreography, artists painting, actors with their lines playing certain roles. They are provoking certain feelings and emotions from others in the audience. They are creating art to move us, to mutate us, and to make us feel something. So with these two, I'm just like, Lord, what a pair. Somebody picking fights and then also wearing their energetic earplugs, provoking all of that, but I'm not going to listen to you. It's interesting too, just kind of a little note right here. The 3839 is always the energy at New Year's Eve. This is always the Sun Earth combo. Okay, so as I was compiling my notes, I was like, for some reason, Rocky pops into my head, right? The fighter. And I am a child of the 80s, so of course. And so I was like, well, let me go over to Wikipedia and just I need a little synopsis like of the plot line. So here's what I have. I'm like, on New Year's Day, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, you cannot make this stuff up. This is the energy at New Year's every year. And the Rocky plot line is on New Year's Day. Anyway, so here they come in. They're fighting. Rocky knocks Creed down in the first round. It's the first time that's ever happened. And so now he's like freaked out. He's the reigning champion, and now he takes it seriously. And the fight goes on for 15 full rounds with both of them sustaining various injuries. Rocky's getting it knocked out of him. Apollo Creed, he's like bleeding internally, broken rib, can't breathe, so on and so forth. So as the fight wraps up, Apollo just like, dang, okay, I keep hitting Rocky, and he just will not go down. 38th fighter. And as it ends, they're like, okay, nobody gets knocked down. They're like, that's it. We're just there's not even going to be a rematch. Anywho, not trying to take you through the movie, but I was like, isn't that wild? Isn't that so wild? Like New Year's Day, it's just like the theme of this particular energy. I would also like to note that Sylvester Stallone is a Cancer. Oh, and what? His sun is in gate 39, which means his earth is in gate 38. You cannot make this up. Like, oh my God, right? So his earth, where he's grounded, isn't like the whole never giving up. I'm like, this is just, it gets too wild and weird where the accuracy is just beyond. It's so beyond. And what's really cool too, just total side note, I was not planning on going off on this. He's a manifester with the channel transitoriness and channel of curiosity. So it's like here he is, like emotional manifester. He's meant to be like a storyteller, and he wrote that movie. He wrote that screenplay, and here he brings it into the world, and that's the thing that like made him famous. Okay, so anyway, back to business. The gate that completes the channel is Scorpio, gate 28, forming the channel of struggle. And 28 is known as the preponderance of the great. It's the gate of the game player. And the keynote with this one is the fear of death or purpose, awareness to struggle for purpose or not. It's not taking risks out of fear that life has no purpose unless you take risks. So it's also known as the risk taker. And really, the thought of this is like, what's the point of all this struggle in life? 28 is known as the game player, right? The game of life. This is an energy that loves to take risks simply to feel the rush of being alive, right? Adrenaline junkie. The low expression of 28 is living in fear of time running out, which I always say it's a Scorpio gate, so it's code for death, right? This energy wants to know what makes life worth living, like the Grim Reapers breathing down your neck all the time. This can be a rebel without a cause, a bit of a Russian roulette vibe to it, kind of punk rock, live fast, die young, classic bad boy living on the edge, seeking an adrenaline rush. It's literally, reaching down to the root center, which is, as we've already talked about with 38, associated with our adrenal glands. Nihilism, right? Literally no point to any of this. It's also an unnecessary battle. One of those people, again, who makes life potentially harder on themselves than it needs to be. And then conversely, it could be extremely fearful of death and avoid risks at all costs. But the high expression of this one is in finding meaning and not wasting what precious time we've been given here on earth on things that don't matter. These people are hyper aware that the clock is always ticking and they don't want to squander a single second. Gate 28 wants to truly make the most of life. By being tuned into the spleen's instinctual awareness, it will know which are the correct boundaries to push or the risks to take to experience life to the fullest. This is also the mark of incredible intuitive timing in a person. I also see this as the archetype of a shadow worker, somebody who isn't afraid to confront the, scary, taboo, darker side of life. These people are alchemists with a natural understanding of how to transmute pain into purpose. Again, it's Scorpio. People with 28 are predisposed to struggle. If you are following your strategy and authority, you will at least be struggling for the correct things. The correct struggle will help you find purpose and meaning in life, right? You got to have challenges to derive anything, to derive meaning from life. So, seeing challenges as gifts, welcoming them, embracing them, that is the gift of 28. I always think it's like those people who are like, oh, yes, it was so hard. It was so difficult, but like so worth it. They wouldn't change anything about it because, they derive meaning from their challenges and their obstacles. So again, it's just a lot of like, all right, we're riding the struggle bus if we're in the low expression between these two gates. So 38 is the pressurized adrenaline energy of the root fighting its way up to connect with the intuitive instincts of the spleen for the correct timing. So the energy, the fuel to struggle, and the awareness to struggle. When the two come together to form the channel of struggle, it's about fighting against feeling a lack of purpose, finding something in life worth standing up for before the clock runs out. All individual circuitry, again, it's here to empower others to encourage change and mutation just by living as themselves. Individual circuitry, again, to remind you too, it's a threat to tribal and collective energy. Individuals go against the grain. Okay. They challenge groupthink, they challenge social norms, just the BS that we continue to go along with because that's how it's done. There's the traditions, like this is, you know what I mean? This is the done thing. Um, Pure, true individuals, they have no time for that herd mentality. You got to be part of the group, the community, the girl gang, anything like that. It's not them. Um, so this one, it's like fighting the good fight and finding the purpose of it, regardless of what everybody else, again, there's our energetic earplugs, regardless of what the tribe or the collective is saying, anybody trying to dissuade you. Again, it's against all odds, doing it your own way, never giving up that fight. Just never give up. Again, just that reminder, the self-care piece, right? Go put your gray sweatsuit on, do your Rocky boxing, because if you have this full channel, again, either gay, but especially that full channel, you really need to work that energy out of your body, because it's a spleen channel. It's directly connected to health. So on one hand, adrenal fatigue and burnout versus knowing how to support your adrenals. Again, exercising the stress out versus living in that fight or flight state 24/7. So anyway, I personally don't have any part of this channel. The 38, the 28, none of it. But people in my life definitely do. My daughter is one of them. Somebody else really close to me. And I've seen how they love to get in the middle of altercations, or, on the good side, fight for the underdog. So somebody who famously had this channel was Martin Luther King Jr., definitely somebody who was willing to fight that fight regardless of, if anybody's behind me or not. And it was empowering, right? He was willing to stick his neck out and do something very important, to empower other people and create change. The change starts with always with the individual. And then it trickles out, and then it's like, okay, the tribe, like the threat, right? It's like, oh, you're bringing a change, but maybe the tribe and maybe the collective really need it, and in his case, absolutely. Like I said, my little girl has this, and it's so sweet. She is very much a little warrior of social injustice. It's very much coming from the light, with her rather than somebody who just wants to fight. It's like, it's not that at all. If she sees injustice, like, girl is not about it at all. She's also a pure individual. I mean, it just couldn't be more true. She's going to do her and do it her own way and whatever to the rest. And I think it's so cool. Total side note, we were on a little field trip recently and it was choir. They were singing at like the mall and got to go to the food court afterward. And everybody in our little group, like I'm chaperoning, they're all like, well, we're going to get food from here. And she was like, actually, I want a shrimp taco from this place. And nobody else was interested and she didn't care. She was like, okay, then that's what I'm going to go do. It was like individuals, like, and something like that, you know what? This is my own thing. I'm just going to go do me. And I'm totally okay with that. I am one, so I love it. I also know how difficult like that can be, just to kind of, mm, I don't know, just never quite be part of the group, and know, and on this level, like know that you are a threat to the group. Oh goodness. I think it kind of tickles me too at the same time. Yeah. With the channel of struggle, these people are built to withstand difficulty. They have a steel pair. When I see it in somebody's chart, I'm just like, girl, you were built for this. The things that roll off your back would quite literally take the rest of us out. They have this ability to weather storms and keep their heads up. Like I said, it makes me think of the daily stoic stuff. I'm like, if you're a 38, you're a 28, you're any part of this, you have the whole channel, maybe check that out. Like there's just something in the stoicism that I think is really super valuable. I really do. 38 alone, if you have it by itself, it lacks the awareness that 28 brings, right? That intuitive awareness. So they need to be extra conscious that they aren't wasting their energy on the wrong fights. Let life invite you into the correct battles. Astrologically, this channel would be a harmonious Capricorn Scorpio sextile aspect. I'm always like, these are just two bad bees, they're very powerful signs. Scorpio is more like the still waters run deep. It's like deeply powerful, deeply emotional, but you're not going to see it on the surface. And Capricorn is just, it is stoicism, and it is ready to go the long haul and never give up. So I'm like, this is a powerful channel, guys. If you have it, kudos to you. Okay, so this one's happening in the fourth quarter of the wheel, purpose fulfilled through transformation. The trials, the tribulations, they make you who you are. You grow through what you go through with this one. All right. So, do you have this in your chart? You're looking down at the root. Left-hand side will be the middle one. It is aiming up toward the spleen. So, if 38 is colored in black, red, or red and black, you have it defined somewhere in your chart. If it's white, you do not have it, but check the other side. Does the 28 colored in? If so, you're going to get this full channel for approximately 6 days. Or you're like me, you've got none of it, but you still want to pay attention. You still want to understand this. Like for myself, I live with it. It's cool to know this about my daughter, and I encourage her. We have the pure individual conversation fairly regularly because, again, it's like certain things in charts bring certain themes all the time. And so when you understand that that's what you have, especially from a young age, human design is really for parents. I'm going back to the very beginning of what I was saying about being a parent. It had nothing to do with this, but now it totally does. When you know this for your kids, you can parent and reassure them in ways that, I can promise you, me, all of us, we were not, more than likely, we were not raised that way to know these things about ourselves, that this is like your superpower. So if you have it now, reparent yourself, know that this is your thing. And if not, then you can at least pass this on like I do, in this case with my daughter for having this. I want to encourage things that she feels very passionately about to really stand up for them, to defend them, to make it part of the mission for her. So whether or not you have it, you can look at other people's charts that see if this doesn't explain more about them. And regardless, we're all experiencing it through the transits one way or the other. So it's very helpful to understand that when this energy is active. Okay. If you enjoyed this episode or the podcast in general and you're getting a lot out of it, I would love it if you would leave it a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps so much. Or even if you just leave it 5 stars wherever you're listening. But it really does. It genuinely helps to get it pushed out to more people. And I would love that because this is a labor of love for me. And human design has helped me, and astrology, but really human design has helped me so much in my life that's why I'm so fanatical and I want to share it with other people. I think it is so instrumental and validating, and it It's like self-love and acceptance. That's what my chart's about. So that's why I share this so much. Yeah. And if you want to learn more human design, of course, free charts, free guide, $11 master classes, yoga nidras, all the good stuff. And then, like I said, getting ready to roll out a workshop for the new year. I'm excited. I'll tell you more about it later when it's ready. But human design new year doesn't start until the sun moves into gate 41. That is Aquarius season, so we're good. Just hang tight. Just don't panic. Get through the holidays first. We're gonna go about planning our I know I say planning really, I secretly it's about aligning to your purpose. We're gonna be doing that here in the near future. Until next time, of course, have a beautiful day.